Alistair Overeem, Walt Harris. Man, what a first round we got. Holy shit.
Crazy first round.
Yeah.
I thought during this that the fight, I'm not saying should, but could have been stopped.
Absolutely. Early.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Walt Harris was raining down punishment from hell on Alistair Overeem. Just shot after shot. And then Alistair got cut open on his brow too, and I was just like, there's blood everywhere. I mean, this is not good.
Yeah.
What is going on with Alistair Overeem? All of a sudden, he's got like a super steel chin.
After getting dropped. After
crazy.
getting dropped too, he got dropped, almost got finished,
Yeah.
and then gets up and just has a chin. Just doesn't eat them all. Doesn't give a shit.
I could not believe that because Walt Harris is a strong man. You can tell when he brings down those fists of fury. You don't mess around.
Yeah.
Those are heavy shots. Alistair was able to withstand that barrage. I don't know how, but it was so damn impressive to me. Happy birthday to Alistair Overeem too, as well.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Because he turned 40 years old. So
yeah,
what a great way to spend your 40th birthday as a professional fighter, to win a big fight like that in a main event and then to go out and celebrate for your birthday. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it was against a guy that literally no one wanted to see lose.
No, not at all. I mean, and that's one of the tough things with the sport. But Alistair Overeem came out and he says, I try to just put all that aside. We're out here because we both love fighting. We both love to compete. He said he has the utmost respect for Walt Harris, wants to train with Walt Harris after the fact.
Yeah,
says he's a great
said
guy.
very good things.
Yes,
in his
he
ear,
did.
Because
But,
Walt at the end of the fight was crying and all that. So,
but man, that speech afterwards too,
very classy.
very good on Paul Felder too. He just said, you know what? Say what is. He goes, well, I just want to give this time to you to say whatever you want to say. And that's a good thing. He could have asked him a bunch of questions. He could have been, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? But he just gave him the opportunity to say what he needed to say. No one was going to cut him out, or give him 30 seconds. He said everything he needed to say. And I thought hats off to Paul Felder, because I thought that was very professional. And it was the perfect thing to do in that situation. And Paul really, over the years, like after he's done with fighting, after he retires, he will have a great career in commentating and in interviewing fighters.
Yeah, he really will. He's already one of the best, I believe.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, he's up there. He's up there with DC, Dominic Cruz, Anik, Rogan, all them. And he'll be doing that for years and years to come. He really doesn't have to fight anymore.
No, he definitely doesn't. He has nothing else to prove. We know he's a savage.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen the wars Paul Felder's in, but don't get me wrong, I'd still love to watch him fight.
I still want to watch.
Still love watching Paul Felder fight, man.
Yep,
so
exactly. But back to the main event. Walt Harris, Alistair Overeem. Man, it was so crazy because in the way that Alistair Overeem got dropped in the first, and for him to turn it around, and for him to come back and drop Walt himself. Mm-hmm. And was it the first or the second round where he landed that head kick? I think it was the second. Oh my God, that was a vicious head kick.
It was the second round.
Yeah, I believe it was coming out of the second. And I think that's what dropped him. And
Yep.
let's kind of go into the stoppage a little bit, because in the second, at what point were they supposed to stop the fight? Because I feel like this was almost turning into another Anthony Smith, Glover Teixeira situation.
I thought it was a very appropriate time. I thought he gave him enough time. Alistair Overeem was punching him in the head, but he wasn't punching him
consistently.
Well, yeah.
He was hitting him hard,
but
and he was hitting him in a good
hard enough
spot.
to call it, because he was still intelligently defending himself. However, I thought he let it go about 30, 45 seconds. He had told Walt Harris multiple times, you got to move, you got to do something. And he was completely stretched out. Like there was nothing he could do. But I thought it was an appropriate time to call the fight.
He was giving Walt Harris every chance to stay in the fight. He really was. Maybe a little bit longer than he probably should have. I mean, there was 27 unanswered shots to the head.
But
27 before the stoppage.
I do not see that they were all significant strikes, and a lot of them hit his arm.
A lot of them hit right to the top of the head.
I would say about 50-50, honestly, because, yes, and some of them would graze the back of his head, but I watched that fight. Like, not every single one of those strikes landed, and they weren't hard enough to be like, oh, we got to call this fight. He's unconscious. He's out.
Yeah, but it was just the body language of Walt on the ground. He wasn't really he was blocking, yes. He was blocking, but he wasn't getting up. He wasn't going to get up. He was kind of just eating the shots.
Isn't that kind of hypocritical, though?
I feel like they needed to stop it. I mean, I'm glad they stopped it.
Right.
And I even tweeted out on our Twitter account, great stoppage by Dan Mergliotta, especially after the last main event and all that stuff. And I really do think it was a great stoppage.
Yeah, so do I.
It's just 27 unanswered shots is like, my question really is, I guess, is what's the number? Like, is there a number? Like, how many
It's just
unanswered
body
shots does there
language.
need to be?
It's all just interpretation. But at the same time, how do we sit here and say that when he gave every opportunity to Alistair Overeem to recover and then he ended up winning the fight?
Yeah.
So it's like that's kind of the question. When is enough enough? And I thought at that moment in time, as we talked about, 30, 45 seconds in, where he gave him every opportunity to try to get out of that spot, he could not get out of it, you call the fight. I thought it was a very appropriate stoppage by Big Dan Murgliata. I was totally okay with it.
Yeah.
Totally. And you know what? He had to give Walt Harris an opportunity. I really feel like if he would have shortchanged him, it would have made everyone feel just not good about it.
Yeah, it probably would have been more of an outrage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, it's a tough job, and hats off and credit due to the refs when they do a great job. Because I'm telling you, dude, I don't ever want to be that guy against the refs, because like 95, 97% of the time, they call good fights.
Yeah.
You know?
They do.
It's just those ones every so often. But going back to this, I thought it was completely appropriate.
Yeah, it's when they do mess up, that's when they're always under the microscope.
Yes.
No one gives a shit when they do a great job. So, yeah, hats off to Big Dan, because if he really wanted to, he probably could have let that go way longer.
He could have. It could have got out of hand.
He really could have, because once again, it was another situation where Alistair was hitting him with big shots and then waiting a few seconds, hit him with another big shot. Like, all you got to do to stop a fight, guys, is pepper him. You don't have to fucking hit hard. Pepper him with 10 shots in a row real quickly, and they're going to stop the fight. 90% of the time. If
you go back and listen, Dan gave him 3 instructions with like about a 7 to 10 second pause.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, Walt, you got to get out of this position. Alistair would land 2 more. Walt, you got to get out with more urgency. And then the third one, and he jumps in and stops the fight. So it's like,
and I'm glad
I think that's the best way to do it. I think that's the best way you got to do it, man. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard. When is the appropriate time? It's the hardest question.
Especially because there is no there is no defined line.
No.
Like, this is it.
Right.
This is it. No, it's like, okay, when do you feel? Mm-hmm. Like, everybody feels a little different, dude.
Well, and not only that, but like boxing is so much more defined.
Yes.
Even kickboxing's much more defined, where it's like, okay, the guy's out, he's out. Oh, he doesn't get up on a 10 count? Well, he's out. The ground game and everything else that goes in, it's a lot. It's very open to interpretation, but I think these guys do a great job overall. A really great job.
They really do. Yeah. One thing I did want to talk about was Overeem is saying he wants to go for one last title shot before he retires. Is this something that's possible? Can he go for that title?
To be completely honest with you, it would have to be a very precise road that he goes down in order to get that opportunity, but I do not see it out of the realm of possibility that he gets the title shot. Mm-hmm. If someone like Ngannou has that title, it's going to be real hard to beat him. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's impossible for him. I think he's totally within the right. I mean, he looks great. He looked great against Rosenstruck. I mean, he won all 5 rounds and gets knocked out in the last 10 seconds. Well, fuck. I mean, he looked great.
And if it wasn't for that lip, that fight might not have been stopped.
Exactly.
He was getting up.
Yeah.
If Rosenstrike didn't walk away, which definitely helped sell that knockout,
definitely.
It might not have been stopped.
No.
So, yeah.
And too, with this fight with Walt Harris and the way he was able to overcome adversity, the way that he did, because I thought that fight was over. I was like, dang, first round, Walt Harris, that's awesome. Gas himself out a little bit. Alistair was able to compose himself, being the veteran that he is, and ends up winning the fight in the second round. So I definitely do. I do think Alistair Overeem can legitimately try for one more title run within a year and a half, 2 years.
He absolutely has the skills. Yeah. And apparently now he has the chin, which is shocking because apparently everyone knows the narrative around Alistair Overeem has been that his chin isn't there anymore. Yeah. But he definitely proved that wrong. Fuck, I thought he was going to get knocked out after that first punch.
Same.
When he got dropped, I was like, oh, it's over. It's over. They could stop it right now. And holy shit, he weathered the storm like the vet he is.
He did. I'm very impressed with Alistair Overeem.
Yeah. Who does he fight next? Like he's already fought everybody. He's already fought everybody.
He's fought everyone.
This man has fought everybody and his grandmother.
You know who I'd like to see him fight? Derek Lewis.
Oh, I don't think they fought yet. Yeah, that's a great matchup.
Give him a top 5 guy. If he really wants one more title shot, let's see if you can get through Derek Lewis. If you can get through Derek Lewis, Hell yeah. Now we're talking business. Now we're talking like some serious. Or how about Junior? Junior's coming.
He beat Junior already.
He did.
He knocked him out, but why not?
Yeah.
Junior's higher ranked. We'll do the rematch.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm sure Junior wants to get that win back.
But I like that Derek Lewis. I think that
I think Derek Lewis would be
is
an easier fight to sell.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah. And I like that for a title run. Why not?
Why not?
Give him Derek Lewis.
Yeah, great fight, great matchup. Well done. They honestly should hire you over there at the UFC because, you know, fuck those Tuesday meetings might be a little more entertaining with me if me and you were there.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Dana's like, Dana, we get in the office. Dana's like, you guys are fucking idiots.
He's like, get the fuck out.
Like,
he's like, go get me a coffee.
I'm like, Dana.
I'm a fucking turtle.
What do you mean, man? I'm a fucking turtle.